So we are now getting an insight into what's about to change come January 20th. And one of the big things that everyone has been talking about is the Bitcoin Reserve, right? We've been hearing about the Bitcoin Reserve, Bitcoin Reserve, Bitcoin Reserve. And I feel like this is like the only thing that's kind of being, addressed in the space. But we're missing the big, talking point, which is what's happening outside of just the whole Bitcoin hype machine, right? Because for the longest time, I kept saying that Bitcoin is going to be hyped and, pushed heavily to the retail sector, while the big players are the ones actually going to be benefiting from this. So let's actually look into this. Let's talk about this. Let's start off with this post here. But first, I gotta say, welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So Solid Intel _X put out a post. Intel, the Trump administration will form a crypto advisory council of 24 leaders to draft legislation, build a Bitcoin reserve, and promote regulatory clarity. Now, on top of this, we actually have over here, and big shout out to Smoke Dog, according to this statement by the vice chair of the FDIC, that's right, the FDIC, same one that you guys know about, right? The work around tokenization and digital assets in the US will begin on day 1. January 20th, confirmed. This is why regulatory clarity for digital assets in the United States will happen rapidly. And if we look into this, this is from January 10th, 2025, charting a new course, preliminary thoughts on FDIC policy issues in 10 days. Now, at this point, it's like 4 days, right? There will be a change in leadership at the FDIC. The agency needs a new direction, and one way or another, I expect that work to begin on January 20th. Now, if we look more into this, what exactly are those changes? Well, if we go over here, and let's actually open this up in a new tab so that we can zoom in and read it. Number 1, another area in which a reset is sorely needed is the agency's approach to digital assets and tokenization. In 2021, the banking agencies issued a roadmap for describing plans to publish various policy documents in 2022 detailing the agency's expectations for banks engaging in activities related to digital assets. Ultimately, this work was discontinued in early 2022 following a change in leadership at the FDIC, and instead, the agencies established processes in which each institution must engage with its regulator on an individual basis before engaging in any activities related to digital assets or blockchain. This is right around the time that, well, let's just be honest here, FTX was imploding, which led to, in the beginning of 2023, forced closures of banks, which all got tied right back to, well, Operation Choke Point 2.0, which also did include the FDIC. They were a big player of Operation Choke Point 2.0 by debanking crypto. We have here, I have talked in the past about how damaging this approach has been, as it has stifled innovation and contributed to a public perception that the FDIC is closed for business if institutions are interested in anything related to blockchain or DLT, which, yes, they are. In fact, we actually have confirmation of this from Custodia Bank. So, yeah, that's actually pretty funny that they're mentioning it here because it did happen. Recent disclosures that the FDIC sent pause letters to more than 20 banks instructing them to refrain from all crypto-related activity have reinforced this perception. I continue to think a much better approach would have been and remains for the agencies to clearly and transparently describe for the public what activities are legally permissible and how to conduct them in accordance with safety and soundness standards. And if regulatory approvals are needed, those must be acted upon in a timely manner, which was not the case in recent years. So we are now going to be seeing a shift from the FDIC, and they're actually going to be taking a big reset approach to digital assets and tokenization. And this is going to be happening on day 1, January 20th. This is very significant. Now, as we do focus on tokenization, we look at the big players, 2 big players specifically from this market. Now, obviously, yes, I can mention XDC, I can mention Algo, I can mention Stellar, I can mention a bunch of names. But I'm gonna focus on Hedera and Ripple. Number one, we have the Hedera real world asset tokenization studio. This tokenization studio is something that I find very crucial to focus on if you are paying attention to utility, if you're paying attention to RWA tokenization in general. The RWA tokenization studio from Hadera is a big player in the space. What's crazy about it, right, is when we go over here to Visa News, we have from October 3rd of 2024, a new era of tokenization is here. The Visa Tokenized Asset Platform, VTAP, is designed to help banks bring fiat currencies on-chain in a safe, seamless, and efficient manner. Why is this important? What if we go over here? We have Hedera with Visa. This is all tied back with Visa. This is actually what's coming next. Rewiring card payments, end-to-end USD settlement or USDC settlement. And this is hypothetically, minutes with no blackout. This is consumers bank with the merchant's own wallet. You have it going through Visa with the stablecoin issuer, with WorldPay, with, Hedera. There's a lot of connections between Visa and Hedera that we can bring up, but, for the sake of this video, we're just going to go off of this. And then over here from Smoke Dog, we also have, yes, Hedera's asset tokenization studio is fully compliant with the US SEC regulations. Compliance is key. This is why assets like HBAR are consistently selected as the technical foundation for scaling major financial initiatives for institutions. In addition to its ISO compliance, Hedera's adherence to SEC regulations ensures that large institutions can leverage its blockchain without the risk of violating global regulations. And here we actually have from Masari, this is the Hedera blog, asset tokenization process. We actually have all of the regulatory things tied to this. For an example, you have KYC, AML, you have the audits, security token offerings, everything going through, this is a complete breakdown of the life cycle of how this will work. You have everything that these regulators need in order for you to be compliant, which is why the Hedera asset tokenization studio is so important to me. And why I do think that this is going to be a big winner once we do start to see tokenization heating up in the US, because Hedera is also a US based company. We also have over here the Asset Tokenization Studio. It allows issuers to create, manage, and operate digital asset securities in compliance with global regulations. As of writing, the studio adheres to US SEC regulations D, 506B, and 506C, and Regulation S, with plans to extend support to other jurisdictions. This is very important. Now, on top of this, let's go over here. This is Archax with Ripple to launch the first tokenized money market fund on the XRP. By the way, Archax also has a partnership with XDC, with Hedera. They were actually one of the first big players to actually enter the market with tokenization. They did enter the market with tokenization, I believe, with Algorand first. I might be wrong on that, but I know back in 2020 they entered the market with Algorand. 2022 or 2023 was with Hedera. And then continuing onward, they started to actually upgrade and push even more, updates with Hedera around tokenization. Now, on top of this, if we actually go over here, we have the arrival of Aberdeen's money market fund on XRP Ledger demonstrates how real-world assets are being tokenized to enhance operational efficiencies while further reinforcing the XRP Ledger as one of the leading blockchains for real-world asset tokenization. We also have down here that in collaboration with Ripple, we are excited to help our clients such as Aberdeen, which manages over £500 billion in assets as of Q2 2024, to bring them to the XRP Ledger using Archax's tokenization engine. If we actually go over here, we also have a complete breakdown of just how big Archax actually is. They are one of the first FCA-regulated digital asset exchange broker and custodians that have provided access to a money market fund from UK asset manager Aberdeen in tokenized form on the XRP Ledger, also on Hedera as well. But yeah, this is very important to focus on because these connections matter, especially when we think about how big Archax actually is. Now, also, if we go over here, we could see that nearly 90% of crypto firm applications rejected by UK regulator. This is a big shout out to, of course, Smoke Dog again, but we have why real-world asset tokenization will be dominated by a few players. The UK's Financial Conduct Authority, the regulator responsible for overseeing financial markets and protecting consumers, has approved fewer than 10% of crypto firms applying to operate under its jurisdiction. And you can actually see on the bottom that nearly 90% of applications from crypto firms were rejected over the past year. This highlights the FCA's extremely strict approval process. Archax, let's go back over here, the first FCA regulated digital asset exchange. Archax, one of the few FCA approved firms, is leading the way in real world asset tokenization. In partnership with Ripple, Archax leverages the XRP ledger to tokenize and trade assets. This positions XRP as one of the few crypto assets that meets the FCA's rigorous regulatory standards. Also, Hedera could be mentioned there, Algorand could be mentioned there, even XDC could be mentioned as well. The FCA's selective approvals and Archax's reliance on the XRP ledger reveals that only a small number of trusted players will dominate the RWA tokenization market. Archax's role solidifies the XRP ledger as one of the few public blockchains capable of supporting compliant institutional grade tokenization at scale. Also, don't forget that Graham Rodford from Archax, the CEO of Archax, actually said that $30 to $50 trillion would be trading on the XRP ledger by the end of this year. We don't know if that's going to happen, but it does show you how bullish they are on the XRP ledger. But also over here, we have the tipping point from Graham Rodford. We have hit the tipping point for mainstream adoption of digital assets for real world use cases. Financial institutions are now understanding this and are excited to play our part in helping them to embrace the technology by bringing their assets onto the XRP ledger. Again, you can mix in Hedera there. You can mix in pretty much anything, right? Algorand or any of the other big players on this list, because this is the Archax global partners. You have some very big capital partners here. Some big technology players, fintech companies as well. You have Securitize on here, Onera, Daily Piper. I mean, there's some pretty large names on here. But then you actually look at some of the other names, like Algorand is on here for an example. You have Tezos on here. It doesn't show us, but Hedera's tied in. Well, actually, no, Hedera's on here. But you don't see Ripple on here, but Ripple is now a confirmed partner. There's a few other ones as well, but XDC, I can mention XDC all day, but yeah, they are definitely key winners. But also over here, building a comprehensive digital ecosystem. From the same slide, by the way, you have those products on the side, which is like tokenized funds, crypto ETPs, crypto digital and traditional securities, NFTs, stuff like that. Derivatives also, have to mention derivatives. But this is all mixed in through the actual engine, right? Like this is the full engine where you have tokenization, primary markets, secondary markets, custody, ESG, CSD and e-money from Montes, and then staking and lending as well. So if we're thinking about what's happening here, the entire digital financial economy is being created. And this is through, a few players like Hedera and Ripple. I always bring up, Hedera because a lot of people actually don't focus on, what Hedera is doing. Like if you actually, for an example, went to their use cases, so this link that's actually under there, how Hedera is the home for RWA tokenization, you actually go to this, right? You're met with some numbers behind it. But also they mention all of the big players that are utilizing RWA tokenization on Hedera. If you actually click this, you could see some of the names. Now, I would assume that this is probably going to increase significantly. We already know that there's some big Philippine banks actually tokenizing stablecoins on Hedera as well. So this is probably going to change significantly over the next few months. But Hedera is becoming a leader and a pioneer around this technology. And I do think that everyone should put some respect on the Hedera name, because this is a project that does get overlooked quite a bit. And this company is absolutely killing the game right now around, tokenization. But then we also look at the market opportunity here for tokenization. We look at the value of HBAR, we look at the value of XRP, and it's very clear that they're both going to be experiencing massive momentum once we start to see a lot of this money being brought on chain. Here we have the massive market opportunity, and we could actually see that this is quadrillions of dollars. In fact, it's 1,700 trillion, aka 1.7 quadrillion dollars worth of the total addressable market, or TAM, if you will. But this is crazy because you really look at these values, and I mean, the overall market here is absolutely insane, because we compare it back to what crypto is trading at today. We compare what, XRP and HBAR are worth, and I just can't help but to see a future where, the holders of both HBAR and XRP, if we really kind of hold these assets long enough, if we take profits, pay ourselves, obviously, and we hold a bag on the side, I don't see how in, the next 5 years, 10 years, who knows how long this is going to take. It might even happen a lot sooner. Again, I'm very conservative on the timeline here because I don't like predicting timeframes, but I do think that these projects could be worth multiple $1 trillion plus market caps, which will make us very happy as holders as well. So, with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely have a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because of more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.